Good morning. Welcome to The Evolution, episode 460. Time for a haircut. Good Wednesday to you. Today I'm going to talk about Michael Rubin appearing on CNBC's Squawk Box this morning. So get into it. Small programming note. Friday may be a little late. I'm going to the Badger basketball game with some former coworkers. Tomorrow night, playing the Hawkeyes, some Big Ten basketball. So I think it's an 8 p.m. tip-off, which by the time I get home, it'll be past my bedtime, so I might sleep in a little bit. So I might be live 7:30 Central instead of 7. So Dan will be sleeping, but Ken might be awake. What's up, Dan? Dan's getting ready for bed. Good morning, Ed, Brad, George. Good morning to all, and good evening. Well, good morning to Brad and Ed. Good evening to Dan and George. Dan asks, how long does it take you to get to UW, the campus? Probably 15 minutes, depending on traffic. If it's afternoon drive time, it'd be pretty horrendous once you get close to downtown. But it's about 15 minutes to campus. Not 7:30, the horror. So I'm just going to get right into it. Also, by the way, I was going to, since I've kind of the last couple of weeks, this week there's been a lot of hobby news. But as we ended December, I was just like, randomly, what am I going to talk about this morning? So I actually pulled out an old magazine, and I was reading some of the commentary, the readers' right columns, and like 5 different letters to the magazine really caught my attention. So I want to share those, but I'll do that another day. So maybe tomorrow, we'll see if any news breaks today. But I might share those because I want to scream at the clouds every time I see various commentary on the current state of the hobby, and I want to share some. Let's go back 30 years and look at the state of the hobby in the early 90s. So I found some great letters to the magazine, to the editor, that I'll share. So coming tomorrow, maybe. Herman's with us. Zach, what's up? So Michael Rubin was on Squawk Box this morning on CNBC. Get right into it. Sometimes my new viewers are like, I thought you were going to talk about Michael Rubin. So let's talk about it. Let's get right into it. Michael Rubin, Fanatics CEO. He was on Squawk Box on CNBC this morning. As we all well know, Fanatics is going to acquire Topps. There hasn't been too much information released. We know the price tag was around $500 million. That was confirmed on CNBC this morning. It was stated an estimated $500 million. Now, by the way, this is only for the trading card division. Now, about half of the business, and that's just, I think it's like 60-40. I don't know the specifics, but it's roughly half and half. Topps has a confectionery division, which is candies and random collectibles. And then they have the trading card division. So Fanatics is purchasing the Topps trading card division for an estimated $500 million, which is about, and Rubin even stated this morning on CNBC that it was a price tag that Fanatics liked, and it was a price that Topps liked. And he said, quote, we very quickly got to an arrangement on that sale price. So from the sounds of it, Fanatics acquiring Topps went in fairly quick fashion. And just an opinion here on my part, just a little editorial here, I wasn't surprised by this, and I don't think and I think most people within the hobby had a feeling this would come down the pipeline. My surprise was how quickly it came, because the basketball and football licenses are held by Panini through 2025. So it's still down the pipeline before Fanatics takes over those licenses. Now, baseball was a little quicker. In the MLBPA and the MLB licenses were, I think, 1 year apart. But I still didn't think January 3rd the news would break that Fanatics was acquiring Topps. I thought, like, at the earliest, it would be the end of 2022 as we go into 2023 and things start changing on the baseball side of the licenses. So it came about a year ahead of when I thought, but there was some great, and I think Sue's mentioned, these companies, they're working a year ahead. So this actually fits the timeline. Fanatics can swoop right in with Topps and start discussing, okay, what are we going to do for 2023? By the way, let off the show this morning, we're talking about Michael Rubin appearing on CNBC Squawk Box. Michael Rubin said, the brand will absolutely be Topps. We want the continuity to be Topps trading cards. So there it is. So, I know some people are like, well, Fanatics wants to take over and they want to brand it Fanatics trading cards. That's not going to be the case. It's going to be the Topps brand of trading cards. So that's, and I think that's what we like. By the way, here's another sidebar. Talking about Topps Chrome and Topps Chrome basketball. And, I would expect to see, those for basketball and football. Now, again, we're several years away from that because Panini holds the basketball and football licenses through 2025. So it'd be 2026 when Fanatics / Topps has the licenses for the NBA and the NFL, when we can see some Topps football and basketball cards and Topps Chrome. And guess what? Topps is coming out with a Topps Chrome basketball. It's the Overtime Elite. It's kind of the minor league basketball. Now, the Overtime Elite is for basically like high school age players that are playing professional basketball. They'll be eligible for the NBA. They're not eligible yet, but they will be eligible for the NBA draft in future years. And it features some kids that will likely be lottery picks within the next couple of years. And so Overtime Elite Topps Chrome will be released the end of February. So I'm excited. And I saw some pictures. I think just Google Topps Chrome Overtime Elite. Some articles will show up. I know Beckett had something on their website announcing it. So February 23rd, I believe, is when Topps Chrome Overtime Elite comes out. So I'm really excited for that product. Depending on price point, I might buy some. I bought some Topps Now Overtime Elite just with my reward points, just as speculative plays, because again, some of these kids in Overtime Elite will be lottery picks either in this year's draft or next year's draft, and I think there's even one or two prospects for the 2024 NBA draft. So I digress. Talking about Topps Chrome Overtime Elite. Ed says, do you think the heavy debt Topps has due in April may have been a factor in this happening sooner rather than later? Maybe. I think a lot of it had to do with timing, and it does make more sense now when I think about the baseball licenses, were set like this. This was the last year, I believe 2022. You can correct me if I'm wrong. Check my work. I believe 2022 was the last year Topps had both the MLB and MLBPA licenses. So 2023 was going to be, kind of that wild card year. So now, kind of thinking it does make sense because we are basically a year away from 2023 Topps Series 1. We're 13 months away, basically. So I think that probably had little to do with the sale getting done so fast. Maybe on Topps's side, they see that and it's like, let's get the deal done before April. And then on Fanatics side, it's like, let's get the deal done as soon as possible because we want to hit the road running so we can unveil 2023 as this conglomerate Fanatics / Topps. So maybe on Topps's side, Obviously, it had a little bit to do with it, and maybe that's why. And Rubin even said this morning on CNBC that it was a price point. Both sides thought it was fair. He called it a win-win for both Tops and Fanatics. If both stops refresh your screen, please don't do that. They have one in April and one in October 2022, if I remember right. I don't know what that is in regards to. So I'm going to go back to I took notes. I recorded this. My wife's going to look at the recordings, and because I rarely record on our DVR or whatever, it's YouTube TV to the library. You add it to the library. It's not recording. So my wife is going to look, and she's like, "Why did you record CNBC at 6 a.m.?" It's like, well, here's why. Two huge payments. Yeah. Good morning, friends. Plowing day here. Yikes. Yeah, I think we're under like slippery road. We're like under an advisory for something weather-wise here. So Michael Rubin says Tops will continue. It'll still be the branded Tops trading cards in the future. I think he even said forever. Estimated $500 million sale. Let's see. Very quickly got to an arrangement. One of the questions brought up this morning was 5 years from now, how does it look? Now, 5 years from now is 2027, so we'll be full on in to Fanatics / Tops having MLB, NBA, NFL, and 5 years is a long look how much the landscape has changed in the last year. Last January, we're getting set. Panini's gonna go on sale for big bucks. Tops is SPAC. Everybody's buying Muds stock because Tops is gonna go public, and then how things change rather quickly. So 5 years, a long time. There's a lot more that can happen in the next 5 years. Maybe some other sport by then takes, and we're fighting over a license for some random sport. All of a sudden, people are collecting trading cards for. Will Michael Rubin bring back the Tops KB toy cards? If not, then this is a bullshit deal. I love it. 5 years from now, how does this look? Rubin said he made a comment that kind of I'd like to dig deeper, and you have to realize when all this, if you recorded it or if you watch it in replay, you're going to say, oh, well, nothing was said. You have to remember that this is on CNBC. It's broadcast to the masses, people that, if you're watching this video, you're pretty immersed in the hobby and in trading cards. So there's a lot of like little minute details that we want answered, questions we want answered, where the general public that's watching Squawk Box, drinking their coffee and reading the newspaper, reading the Wall Street Journal or the newspaper, they could give a care less. They couldn't care less. So CNBC they have 10 minutes. They have to get the main points out. And most of the main points, we already know. It's like, well, duh, we want to know this, and this, where it's like the general public doesn't give a crap. They don't care. They just want to know, the main points. And then, grandma or grandpa is going to call you later this morning and they're going to be like, now, little Jimmy, you have baseball cards in the basement. Did you know Tops sold to Fanatics? That's my really poor impression of a grandma. So 5 years. So the comment he makes, circle back. So the comment Michael Rubin made this morning, he said the trading card industry has grown by luck recently. Now, I thought about that. That's a really interesting comment to make, especially from the CEO of a company that's now like in charge of the entire trading card landscape and is making a comment like it's grown by luck, which I found interesting. And I'd like to know why? Like why do you believe it's grown by luck? And I think we can all kind of assume the meaning behind it, COVID and it was the perfect storm. And we've talked about that, over and over again over the last a year and a half, almost 2 years. When the hell did COVID start? Geez, zooks. Started in like end of February overseas, and then by the end of March here in the States. So he says the trading card industry has grown by luck recently. And then he says, so what they're working on for the next 5 years is how do we grow this industry? How do we grow this industry, meaning trading card industry, even more than what we've seen growth-wise here over the last 2+ years? He says he wants to market the industry and make it much bigger, which, I think that's, I think that's obvious. Everybody who owns a company, they want to continue to grow it. Market the industry, make it much bigger. For the collector, and that's how he framed this comment. Started off with for the collector. So I made sure to make note of this comment because I just like the wording he used. For the collector, we are more direct to consumer, and I think that's obvious. We know how Fanatics is run, the direct to consumer market in terms of sports memorabilia. You buy your jerseys, and a lot of people, and here I'm going to go on a sidebar with some commentary of my own. A lot of people complain like, well, now we're gonna have blaster boxes for $60, and Fanatics is gonna raise them. Why do some people automatically just assume when a company comes in and buys something, another company, that they're gonna triple prices on products? Like, what makes you think that because Fanatics now is running the trading card market essentially, that they're going to triple the prices on retail blaster boxes, and they're gonna close card shop? It's like, why do you automatically is that just each individual person has a negative outlook on life? And I think that's the case for a lot of people. But it's like, let's take a step back, let's breathe a little, let's have a little optimism, let's be positive. I know that's hard for some people. Let's be a little positive here. So direct to consumer. You can go shopping on Fanatics' website, and you can get some damn good deals for lower prices than what you can at many places. So I don't know why people automatically assume that Fanatics is going to triple prices on boxes of cards. So I just wanted to sidebar that. Back to Michael Rubin's comments on CNBC this morning. For the collector, we're more direct to the consumer. We know that through their sports memorabilia sales on their online platforms. And this next part, very important. This is another piece, going back to my little commentary there. This is a piece that people are kind of like, whoa, what? Well, Fanatics is going to come in and they're going to open all these stores and malls, and my mom and pop card shops are going to close. Not true. Hobby shops are critically important and will always be a vital part of the business, says Michael Rubin, Fanatics CEO, as stated on CNBC this morning, the 5th of January, 2022. Again, and I quote, hobby shops are critically important and will always be a vital part of this business. Hobby shops aren't closing. I think, guess what? Here's my commentary. I think Fanatics taking over the trading card industry, as far as the 3 major sports are concerned, this is good for the hobby shops. I think this is great for hobby shops, and I think Fanatics, and now their relationship acquiring Topps, I think they're going to build those relationships with hobby shops. My opinion. That's my opinion. But I found that interesting. Again, I'm going to say it a third time, and I quote Michael Rubin, CEO of Fanatics, said this on CNBC this morning. Hobby shops are critically important and will always be a vital part of the business. So there's that. So let's see, what else did he say? So many services. So this is something that Rubin has stated. Rubin has stated previously, and I know people hate monopolies, and Fanatics wants to come in and they want to have grading, and they want to have insurance, and they want to have shared ownership, and they anything you can think of hobby related. Fanatics wants a one-stop shop. Which, do you blame them? And it's not like this is, I know we've never seen anything of this kind in the hobby. The hobby for many. It's an industry and a business for many also. But it's could be the first of its kind in the trading card industry. But department stores, even some grocery stores, they're basically one-stop shops. Hey, you can get this, and this. You can get all of the essentials you need at, look at Walmart. And I know Walmart's especially when it comes to mom and pop shops, Walmart's a bad word, but Fanatics wants to have a one-stop shop. And he mentions the services that collectors want in one place. Now, I know some of us don't want monopolies and don't want Fanatics to take over every aspect of the hobby in terms of grading and supplies and cards and insurance and fractional ownership and all of that stuff. But many people do. There's a lot of people in the hobby. There's a lot of people in the hobby that, hey, I'm guilty of enjoying a one-stop shop. I hate shopping, and I hate having a separate username and password for every damn website and store that's out there. It's like, okay, I'm going to buy my box of cards from Fanatics. Now, if I want to grade it, I've got to go to PSA. And if I want supplies, I go to BCW. And if I want this, I go this. And I have like 5 or 6 different bills. It's like, maybe, there's a lot of people out there. I know there's a lot of people out there that don't want Fanatics to have ownership of all of this. But there's some people that are like, hey, that's great. I can buy my cards. If I pull a fire banger, I can get it graded by the same company in my same little, portal online. I can go to fanatics.com, buy a card, boom, it's awesome. I'm going to grade it, boom. Maybe it's a huge card, and I think someday we're seeing the build of fractional ownership. I think eventually we're going to get to a point where you can submit cards for fractional ownership yourself. And I'm sure you can do that now on bigger cards, but I think it's going to be more widespread where it's, more of the rare cards and maybe you can, your 89 Fleer Billy Ripken, you might be able to, but nobody's going to want it. But it's a one-stop. You go to Fanatics and you can do all of this, and you don't have to worry about going to 6 different websites to fill out all this paperwork for the same time over and over. And a lot of people like that and want that. And I know a lot of people don't want that. But I think that's where Fanatics is angling. They want, and he mentioned insurance, and I think he said fractional ownership. I kind of missed taking some of the notes there, but and that's something Rubin has stated in previous interviews that they want to kind of have a one-stop shop type of business. And then one final thing was on NFTs. I'm not in that market. I don't know anything about NFTs. I mean, very little. And I really don't have an interest. A lot of people like NFTs, and that's great. I like collecting 1 million Cubs baseball cards. Not many people like collecting 1 million of anything. So to each his own, to each their own. And I think I'm not going to hate on NFTs. I'm not going to hate on grading. I've never submitted a card for grading. I'm not going to hate on fractional ownership. I don't think, for me, it's something that I'm interested in. But some people do, and that's fine. And there's a place for it. There's a demand for it. People want it. Give it to them. Let them have it. So I'm cool with that. So NFTs. He says, Michael Rubin says physical and digital will work together, meaning NFTs and physical trading cards. That's been a massive business in NFT this year. and both have grown well together, meaning the physical cards and the NFTs. So look for that more of that market with Fanatics and Topps. So that was about that was the gist of it. Michael Rubin on CNBC this morning on Squawk Box. Good stuff. Again, a lot of it, we already knew some of the points I took. The brand will absolutely be Topps. We want the continuity to be Topps trading cards. That was my biggest takeaway from this morning's interview. The Topps name will live on. The sale was an estimated $500 million. Now, again, that was for the trading card division only. About half of Topps's business also includes the candy division, confectionery. And they very quickly got to an arrangement. So it was, Rubin stated it was a win-win for both sides, both Topps and Fanatics. So that was the interview. So let's see, Zach and Jenny working on some trades. Shaw Cards is with us. Good morning. So that's what I had for today. I don't want to share anything. I don't have anything else to talk about. Did a lot of shipping yesterday. I'm going to do some more shipping today. I did list about 300 baseball cards in my store. I got over 10,000 listings. I reached 10,000. Now, I had a goal like at the end, as I was approaching that milestone in December, toward the end of December. It's like, I want to get there by January 1st. But around Christmas, you have family. I was behind on things, so I didn't get there. So I reached like 10,000. I think I peaked yesterday at 10,021 active eBay listings. And right now I'm at 9,976. So I do have more baseball to list today. I have some more shipping that I'll do this morning, and I'll list some, try to get at least 100, maybe 200 more items listed this afternoon, get back over that 10,000 milestone. So sales continue to grow in the eBay store, which is the goal. Continue to scale up, continue to make more sales, and all that good stuff. So thanks for tuning in. Have a great Wednesday. Back again tomorrow morning, same time, 7 a.m. Central, unless something develops in the next 24 hours in the hobby, in the trading card industry. I want to share some letters to the editor from 1992 on tomorrow's show, because I see a lot of commentary, and I think we see the same commentary year after year. It's the same complaint over and over. And it was the same 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Can you believe 1992 was 30 years ago? I can't believe that. I don't want to believe that. 30 years ago, 1992. Thank you, Jenny. Appreciate that. So have a great Wednesday, and we'll talk tomorrow.